What's good, y'all? It's your boy Shane Hector. Is coming at you live from WBGR. No BS, no holds barred sports talk show is back in the building. Mr. Unregulated, we are back at it again. Same old stuff, different day. Ladies and gentlemen, we just gonna jump right into it. I know you guys are noticing the pink right now, so I know you guys are about to ask us. I mean, we had to support breast cancer awareness because breast cancer awareness definitely affects a lot of us. Is it here at WBGR and all over the world? So we definitely support breast cancer awareness. And to all the ladies out there, I want to that watch the show. I want to thank all of you for supporting the show. And please, make sure you go talk to your doctors. You go get your checkups because this is a very serious issue. And not to mention, it even affects some guys in the NBA because we all remember Jrue Holiday and his wife and what they went through. So what I always say to everybody is if you know somebody that's going through this right now, don't hesitate to go comfort them and making sure those individuals are okay. This is no BS. Myself and Mr. Regulate, we support breast cancer awareness. Now, let's get into it. The NFL. Let's start with a couple of games that kind of ended kind of tight. So that Dolphins and Bears game. For the life of me, I kept watching that game, and I'm like, how did the Bears allow that game to get out of reach?
Well, I told you when we did the picks last week that the game plan would be to stop Khalil Mack and to provide protection for Tannehill. But I did not know Tannehill was not going to play.
Yeah.
But they game plan for this. I mean, they've been seeing over 6 weeks of tape on the Bears defense. So quite naturally, if you're a good coach, you're gonna prepare for that and try to put things in place that will give you an opportunity to make some big plays downfield.
Right. And not only that, there were so many turnovers in that game. I'm like, you can't have that many turnovers in a football game and expect to win. That's just what it is. I mean, that game had at least, especially in overtime. In overtime, they were trading turnovers. I mean, they fumbled on the goal line. As a goal line, the Dolphins fumbled on the goal line. Then Jordan Howard fumbled on the goal line. And then the Dolphins fumbled on the goal line again. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And Kenyon Drake, he was looking at himself like, did this really just happen? And but luckily for him, the Dolphins defense bailed him out. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. The Dolphins defense bailed him out because they for sure was about to, because the Bears was for sure about to go down there and go get that score, but the Dolphins defense had bailed him out. And right now, it's looking like this is what it's going to be right now. So it looks like, the Dolphins are where they are. The Patriots and the Dolphins, it looks like they're going at it for the top of the AFC East right now. And then speaking of the Patriots, I told you they was going to win. Problem was, if I'm a Pats fan, I would be deeply concerned after that game. I would be deeply concerned.
After that game?
Yep. I would be deeply concerned.
It was saying that you would be deeply concerned after the previous 6 games.
No, I wasn't concerned because I've seen them start off like that before. But that last one, that one concerned me. This is it. Okay, so the Chiefs were 5-0 coming into that game. After the game, they were 5-1. The problem was Tom Brady and the Patriots offense had to put up 43 points in order to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's bad. And mind you, this is a team that doesn't have Eric Berry, and they didn't even have Justin Houston in that game. Now, granted, everybody could say, well, I don't think those guys make that much of a difference. But what people don't realize is when the Chiefs beat them last year, 42-27, Eric Berry held Rob Gronkowski to 1 catch that whole game. This game, he wasn't held to 1 catch. He was held to over 6 catches and a little over 80-something yards. So there was you clearly see there was a huge difference with Eric Berry being out of the game. Not to mention, Justin Houston, he didn't do nothing in that game anyway, so he was going to be a non-factor no matter what. But Eric Berry was the huge factor of why the Patriots wasn't able to fly downfield last year. And then this year, I mean, they were flying downfield regardless because, I mean, Josh Gordon was in the lineup. They had a couple, and then on top of that, the corners for the Chiefs wasn't that great. They had a couple pass interference penalties. And I just was like, if you told me tomorrow the Patriots were going to play in the Super Bowl with that defense, I'm going to tell you right now, they're definitely going to lose. Not even thinking about it.
Well, first of all, don't think Super Bowl. Now that I've let you, you invented. Don't think Super Bowl. That's only going to frustrate you more. I mean, maybe think playoffs, but don't think Super Bowl.
You just don't want them to get there. It's okay, I understand.
Well, I see some issues, and I see some teams that quite frankly, are going to give them a real run for their money this year.
I don't, because the problem is the teams that they're playing, most of them are usually not that good on offense, or they're usually not that good on defense, or both. Is this that with the Chiefs? That was a game that Belichick knew that offense. He knew about Tyreek Hill. He just didn't have any film on Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes ended up throwing 2 interceptions in that game. He got off to a very slow start. The problem was the Patriots were up the whole game. The issue was they let him come back. And you can't let teams linger around, because sometimes certain teams, if you let them linger around, they'll just come back and bite you.
Well, we're not just talking about teams. We're talking about one of the best teams in the NFL. Kansas City Chiefs you have to rank them in the top 3 in the best teams in the NFL right now.
Oh, no doubt. No question.
This is what good teams do. They may start slow, but they continue to fight, and they give themselves an opportunity to win the game. Right. So I mean, that was expected. I expected a close hard-fought game. I did think that the Kansas City Chiefs would have pulled that game out, but they didn't.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. But another game that really, I think it was the upset of the day, and you're probably going to hate me for saying this, that Dallas Cowboys-Jaguars game. I couldn't believe that. 40-7, like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Jaguars defense? Because I'm really trying to figure this out. Like, in the past 2 weeks, they've given up 70 points, and they only put up 21 points in 2 games, but they gave up 70. They gave up 30 to Kansas City. They gave up 40 to the Dallas Cowboys. This is a team that I didn't even expect to get that many points. Your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I really have any thoughts on that, Shane. I mean, when you look at their defense, I mean, of course the Dallas Cowboys are going to shred TCU's defense. They're going to shred it. I mean, that's not a professional football. That's not a professional protein defense. The defense looks horrible, and to let the Cowboys put up 40 points, I mean, you're making the Cowboys look like they're back in the 80s or something, like the 90s with Troy Aikman and them. Whereas though you expect them to be in the Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl. That is not the Dallas team that we have right here. But they look like that against the Jaguars, and I don't know what's going on with the Jags right now, but they need to get it together. And they need to get it together pretty quickly.
And I think part of the problem is Blake Bortles. I don't know who that dude is. I don't know who's playing quarterback. I can just tell you right now. Like,
what's his name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Blake Bortles. Blake
Bortles. You said it right the first time. But that's who he is. I mean, and who is that?
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. It was just god awful, and I mean they couldn't. And then for that defense to only give her 259 yards per game as a defense, as being the number 1 defense, but for the past 2 weeks they've given up between 400 and 500 yards a game for the past 2 weeks. I don't know what they need to do. I don't know what they need to fix. But then it just puts things into perspective, like, how did you allow that to happen? Then let's also talk about the fact that, because I've also seen this. So the Packers beat the Niners barely. 33-30. And I've been seeing this all over again. You know, everybody's trying to compare Aaron Rodgers to Tom Brady, but I'm like, you can't really compare Aaron Rodgers to Tom Brady because Tom Brady beat a team who was undefeated, whereas Aaron Rodgers, he beat a team that, let's be honest, they're not even that great. They're not even that great of a football team. The fact that Aaron Rodgers was down on the 49ers, to me, actually makes it worse. Because the fact that you had to bail out your defense in order to come back. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, being a little biased here. But I'm just looking at the facts. The facts is if you're going to call somebody the best quarterback and say that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady, but Tom Brady definitely beat an undefeated team yet and still, but Aaron Rodgers beat a team that, first off, is not even close to undefeated. What, they won like one game, two games?
Who's saying he's the best quarterback?
Well,
because clearly he's not the best quarterback in the league. I mean, I can name probably 2 or 3 quarterbacks that are better than him, and the stats.
In the game today?
Yes.
Who?
Tom Brady is one.
One. Who's the other?
Drew Brees is another.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that.
And as I go down the list, just to think about it, there's probably someone else out there that I would consider better than him. I would put him and Cam Newton probably on the same level, but he's clearly not the best quarterback in the league. You can't just overlook Tom Brady at all.
Well, here's the thing. I think right now we need to go into these picks because we can debate the best quarterback another day.
Yeah.
So week 6 picks is going to be really interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who want to make your picks this week, I want you guys to go ahead and try to compare it to our picks. So let's go ahead and look at it. So Thursday night already played. Broncos-Cardinals.
And the thing about this Broncos-Cardinals game, the Broncos got the coach fired. So now the Cardinals have a new offensive coordinator from D.C., Byron Leftwich. So let's see how this plays. I think he's going to be a pretty good offensive coordinator. I want to see the difference in the next game. I want to see what the difference is.
Byron Leftwich, didn't he play quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah.
He played for the Jaguars?
He played for the Jaguars, the Steelers, and probably someone else.
Yeah.
Another team.
I love Byron Leftwich. He was a heck of a quarterback back in his heyday.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good guy.
From the University of Marshall and from H.D. Woodson here in Washington, D.C.
Yes, sir. Byron Leftwich. I missed him. I'm glad he's back in it. So, Titans-Chargers, I'm not liking that one. I don't like that one for the Titans, especially since they lost last week. That was a sack fest. It was a sack fest. It was so bad. Judon and T-Sizzle went to the rest of the D-line and was like, hey, y'all want in on this?
Well, I told you that the Ravens were not going to lose. We're not going to lose that game.
Yeah, you said
it. I told you that. Whew. The Ravens off.
Oh, it was a sack fest. That was bad.
11 sacks.
Yeah.
Everybody made the Pro Bowl off that game.
Did they? I'm like, I've never seen that many sacks before since the Giants. Remember when the Giants was sacking the life out of Jay Cutler in that Bears game a couple of years back? That was the last time I ever seen the defense get that many sacks. That was a lot of sacks.
Everybody met their obligations to receive their bonuses and everything off them sacks.
Oh, believe that. They gonna get paid. All right, if I'm gonna go in this one, I'm definitely choosing the Chargers in this one. That's not even a thing because I'm sorry, the fact that the Ravens did that to him, I can only imagine what the Chargers are gonna do because they got Joey Bosa back, Melvin Ingram is getting off that edge. I definitely foresee the Chargers isn't winning this one.
Well, the Chargers should win this game, but with the point, I'm going to go with the Titans because the Titans have to come out here and they have to come out here mad. They have to come out here with high energy. So
right.
If they can do that, I think that they can compete and possibly knock the Chargers off. So I'll go with the Titans this week.
Okay. Then I got we got Panthers and Eagles. I don't like this one at all. I don't like this pick. I really don't want to make this pick because I don't trust the Eagles defense because I know their corners are not that great. I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I can't trust them because the Panthers, even though they lost to your Skins this past Sunday, I don't foresee that happening again because of the fact that that was actually a really great game. It's just that the Panthers made too many mistakes early on. They had a couple. Your defense caused a couple of turnovers. I can't foresee them losing twice in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna pick the Panthers to win this one.
I think you may be on to something, Shane, because I'm gonna pick the Panthers as well. Mm-hmm. I don't see the Panthers losing 2 in a row, and definitely not to the Eagles. I mean the Eagles defense, their front line, defensive line is pretty strong with Fletcher Cox, but with Cam Newton being a threat to run, how do you cover him? So I think the Cam Newton effect will be the thing that gets the Panthers past the Eagles this week.
All right, so Vikings Jet. I'm picking the Vikings. That's not even a thought to me. I think the Vikings are gonna be. I think they're gonna get it together. They have to get it together before it's too late because we're already a quarter of the season through. We're already quarter of the season through, about to be getting to that halfway mark. Because once we get to the halfway mark, then we're going to really start seeing how teams are really shaping up, and then we're going to see who really has a much better chance to get to the playoffs. And for the Vikings, right now, you really have to, because the last thing you want is to be in a dogfight for the division between the Packers and the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Vikings as well. The Vikings, they just have too much firepower.
Yeah.
So, this should be a pretty easy game for the Vikings. It's going to be I would predict that it's going to be lopsided.
Okay. Bills, Colts. I'm actually going to go with the Bills in this one because I like LeSean McCoy, and I know the Colts defense, they ain't going to run defense to save their life. So I think that they'll keep it on the ground. They'll run the football. I think they're going to play that very well. And then on top of that, I think Allen is going to finally show up. Finally. I do believe that it's going to be high scoring, but I think maybe 35-28. That's what I foresee.
Now, I like the Bills. Mm-hmm. But when I think about it, and I think about the quarterback, and I think about Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I think, okay, well, he has to get it together. This is the week that the Colts will win convincingly because the Colts are not a bad team.
Right.
They just haven't performed up to the expectations that they set. So I'm going to pick the Colts this week to beat the Bills. This should be a close game.
Yep. Patriots, Bears. I'm not going to front after what I saw last week. I'm a bit optimistic, but I'm going to give the Patriots the edge just because of the fact that I know the Bears corners cannot cover those receivers with Julian Edelman being back in the lineup, Josh Gordon spreading the field, Gronkowski getting wide open. Plus, a quarterback's best friend is a really good running game, and Sonny Michel for the past 2 weeks has gotten at least 90 yards or more, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to try to continue with that train. They'll probably double team Khalil Mack. They ain't gonna let him get off the edge too much or even touch Tom Brady. However, because the defense for New England is not that great, I'm gonna not put anything past Mitch Trubisky. I think that Mitch Trubisky is a much better quarterback than people are giving him credit for. But I gotta give the Patriots an edge. I got the Patriots winning that one 38-28.
That's the edge, 10 points.
That's it. That's the only, just a small edge. I can't even give them that big of an edge.
I'm going to say that the Bears will beat the Patriots this week.
You're disrespectful.
And I'm going to tell you why. There's not going to be a game plan where they're going to contain Mac. So what's going to happen is 2 things are going to happen. Even they're going to let Mac come through. And it's going to be a lot of screen passes. Try to get some yards. Catch and run pass plays, or your quarterback is going to get hurt. It's one of 2 things are going to happen. So if the Patriots are to win, that means they're going to let Mac come in, and it's going to be a lot of short dump offs and yards gained after the catch. Otherwise, warm your backup quarterback up. Your season will be over with messing with this man Mac. They're mad. They lost last week. They should. I'm sorry. They won last week in a really tough game, which shouldn't have been that tough. I just think they're going to come out with an edge like we are the Bears. Everybody's talking about how great and how good our defense is, and they want to compare it to the '85 Bears. So I think this Bears team comes out with an edge and say, you know what, we're just as good as the '85 Bears. I don't think so, but I think the mentality is what I just said. So I'm gonna go with the Bears, and I'm seriously for all you Patriot fans, I am very serious. You have to protect your quarterback this week, because if you do not protect your quarterback, your season is completely over.
All right, so Browns, Buccaneers. It's Jameis Winston versus Baker Mayfield.
Jameis Winston versus the Browns defense.
This is gonna be interesting.
It is.
I'm rolling with the Browns.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Browns this week too.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Browns. All right, Texas Jags. These divisional games are always funny. These divisional games are always funny. That number to call, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be 301-429-9247. That's that number to call if you want to go ahead and call us. So, again, 301-429-9247. Okay, so Texans, Jags, I don't really like this one because, Deshaun's been kind of shaky this season. And I get it, he's coming back from an injury, so he's a little shaky. But I also don't trust that Jags defense either. After what I've been seeing this past 2 weeks, maybe they might get it together. I don't know.
Get it together.
They are playing at home.
That defense has so many holes in it that if you get together, if one part of it gets together,
I think the Groundhogs could actually come through because that's how many holes they got in that. I'm going with the Texans.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no question. I have to go with the Texans as well. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if the Texans, if this is a 10-point game or more, that the Texans will win.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I just don't have any.
All right, so I think this is going to be America's game of the week to me. Saints and Ravens.
You skipped the Dolphins and Lions.
I'll get back to them.
Saints and Ravens.
Yeah.
You want me to go?
Your thoughts?
As much as I respect Drew Brees, and as much as I like the Saints, I think the Saints have a really, really high-power offense. But when I look at when the Saints played the Redskins and how Kamara was contained, you're going up against a very, very good Ravens defense, which means that if the Redskins can contain your number one threat, then then with this super defense, Breeze can be contained too. So I'm looking at this game. I'm looking at the Saints. The Saints can score a lot of points, but I'm looking at the Saints not even scoring over 23 points. I think the Ravens win this 24-23.
You're saying Ravens gonna win this 24-23?
You must respect the Ravens.
I'm actually inclined to agree with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll with the Ravens just because the Ravens. I've seen a lot of Ravens defenses throughout the years. I remember those years when they used to give Tom Brady some problems. I've seen them give Aaron Rodgers some problems. After what they did last week. Now, granted, these are two different offensive lines, but the Ravens are also very good at stopping the run. And if Alvin Kamara cannot get out that backfield, it's going to be a very long day for the Saints. So I got to go with the Ravens. But I actually think it's going to be a lot closer than people thinking. I'm thinking 17-14 because I don't trust Joe Flacco. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to be a high-flying quarterback like everybody thinks it's going to be, but I do believe it's definitely going to be low-scoring. I think that it's definitely going to be close, 17-14. Now, Lions-Dolphins. The Dolphins got lucky last week, and the Lions, they're a little bit better offensively than the Bears. They're better offensively. The only thing I just don't like about the Lions, because I hate this about them, as much talent as they got on that offense, they're highly inconsistent. I'm going to roll with the Dolphins in this one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Got to roll with the Dolphins. And I don't care who the quarterback is, whether it's Osweiler or Tannehill. They just look good. They look like a good team.
Yeah, and Adam Gase got those guys playing very well. This is another America's game of the week. Cowboys, Redskins. I'm going to let you pick.
This is always a tricky game because of the rivalry. One team may be better on paper than the other team, but you can never tell. But I'll give the edge to the Redskins because they're home, one. And for two, the Redskins' defense is ranked in the top 5. Their run defense is pretty good. The pass defense it came together a little bit. It got better a little bit last week. But with those two big guys in the middle of that defensive line, Payne, and Allen. You know, I don't. I mean, you know, Elliott is. They're gonna have to do some sweeps, some swing passes, and all kinds of things to get him going because he's not gonna run up that middle.
Right. If I'm gonna choose in this game, I'm definitely gonna choose the Redskins. I don't trust because the Cowboys. Yeah, they may have looked good against the Jags. That was cute, but that was one game. Yeah. That was actually one game where I actually seen the Cowboys dominate for the first time like all season, and I noticed one thing. The only way the Cowboys offense is even going to put up any type of points is when Ezekiel Elliott is running rampant. But when he's not running rampant, he's not able to get out the backfield, the Cowboys lose. And then you see how good Dak Prescott really is. I got to roll with the Skins.
Definitely rolling with the Skins. But Cowboy fans, I like your colors.
Now this one, okay, this is another divisional matchup. Rams-Niners. Rams, not even a thought. I don't even think we even talked about that. So, yeah. Your thoughts?
You don't want to talk about the Niners.
No, what is there to talk about? Yeah, yes, they came, okay, all right. They came close to beating Aaron Rodgers, who really, let's be honest, who doesn't even have a defense to speak of. Let's just be honest about it. This team has a defense to speak of, so, no. They're undefeated, and they're on the road. And who's gonna stop Todd Gurley? Who's gonna stop him? Who's gonna stop Todd Gurley? Who's gonna stop Brandon Cooks? Better yet, who's gonna stop Cooper Kupp? Oh wait, Richard Sherman, who's playing on what, half a leg? Nah, I'm okay. Rams.
All right. Most of you all know that last week picks, I got maybe 90%. My accuracy was like 90% with the NCAA and the NFL picks combined. This is your upset of the week, right here. This is your upset of the week.
You're choosing
McVay, Shanahan. These two know each other.
They sure do know each other.
I'm going to pick the Niners to win this game, and I'm going to pick the Niners to win this game because of the coaching factor, one, and I just think Shanahan is going to outsmart McVay. One. The other thing is this. Think about the Rams. Think about they're one injury away from being a regular or mediocre team. So watch it. Again, this is another game. Watch your quarterback. These Niners will be coming for the quarterback. There will be heavy pressure.
DeForest Buckner.
It's going to be heavy pressure. If they get to your quarterback and rattle your quarterback, it can change the game. If they get to your quarterback and put your quarterback out, it will change your season.
What he said. All right, Bengals Chiefs. I think this is going to be America's game.
Man,
that's going to be a great but I you may call me crazy for this one, but I'm actually going to roll with the Bengals, and here's why: 2 back-to-back Sunday nights for Patrick Mahomes. He looked good last Sunday night, but he still lost a game. But now you gotta go back home after you just travel from New England, and you got the Bengals coming to town, who's used to that kind of noise anyway. And that Bengals defense is a lot better than that Patriots defense. So, I got to roll with the Bengals because the Chiefs, let's be honest, they're not going to be able to stop Joe Mixon. They're not going to be able to stop A.J. Green. They won't. I don't foresee it. And, you know, the only way the Bengals will lose this game is if the Chiefs start getting to Andy Dalton. If they get to Andy Dalton early, it's going to be a long, long game. You all right over there?
I'm over here crying, Shane. Because I cannot believe that you're going to go with the Bengals. Like, every week I sit here and I say WKRP in Cincinnati. This is the week that I will not be saying that in favor of the Bengals. There's absolutely no way I'm picking against the Chiefs. The Chiefs, this is a...
You picked against them last week and they lost. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
I picked against the Chiefs last week.
Did you?
No.
You didn't pick against them.
No, sir. Not with the Patriots. No, sir. I'm definitely going to pick the Chiefs, and I'm going to pick the Chiefs because of two things. The Bengals offense is not going to outscore the Chiefs offense, one. Two, this is a magical season for Kansas City. This is one of those seasons where it's magical. Every year we have a team that comes out, people say they're going to be good, they're going to be okay, but they end up going to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl. This is a magical year for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no and if that is truly what it is, they're going to have to beat the Bengals.
And last but definitely not least, Giants, Falcons. I'm gonna go roll with the Falcons because they're in a must-win situation. Because Falcons, they're playing at home against the Giants, and the thing about the Falcons, they have to keep pace with the Panthers and the Saints. Because let's be honest, nobody cares about the Buccaneers in that division. And I predicted, and I feel like my prediction is still gonna come to fruition. I still believe the NFC South this season is gonna put out 3 teams to the playoffs this year. I am pretty sure that they're going to do the same thing that they did last year. They had the Falcons, Saints, and Panthers last year. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same thing again this year. But the Falcons have to win this game against the Giants because if you lose to the Giants, you're probably not going to make it.
Well, to the Giants' defense, the Giants, this is a must-win game for them too. Mm-hmm. How do they beat the Falcons? Can they beat the Falcons? Of course, they can beat the Falcons if Eli gets the time that he needs and is able to pick your defense apart. This is the one thing I expect to see from Eli this week. Eli will not be under center getting the plays from the sideline every play. They're going to send Eli out there and they're going to say, Eli, you're the offensive coordinator. You call these players on the line. If we want to change, listen to us in the mic, but this is your game. We need this win. We're putting it on your back. So I think that it's going to be heavy clock control management by Eli and Barkley. I still don't think it'll be enough to beat the Falcons. But this will be probably the best game of the day right here. Because both teams are desperate, but the Giants are even more desperate, and Eli is out to prove something.
All right. And that concludes our segment for the NFL. So we're going to just actually move on in the interest of time. So we're actually just going to move straight on to the NCAA picks and then go with the top 5 games of the week. And so let's just jump right into it. So my 2 cents, I think the game to watch, I got an upset alert. The NC State and Clemson game. They're both undefeated. Clemson is playing at home. Okay, the Tigers look pretty good. I'm not gonna act like the Tigers aren't a good football team. There's only one problem that I have with that. Is it with their football team though? I don't like that defense. That defense to me this year has shown me that they can be beat, and they give up a lot of points. And since I know they give up a lot of points, I'm not gonna put it past the NC State Wolfpack to get to them. And the funniest thing about NC State, because for some strange reason, it seems like every single year they get this one guy that's just a ridiculous pass rusher. But this year they got pass rushers. So I got an upset alert. I'm gonna roll with NC State. I'm gonna pick them to beat Clemson.
Well, I'm gonna pick NC State to cover. This is a 17-point spread.
Right.
So it's going to be closer to 17 points. So I'll pick NC State to cover. But Clemson, the number 3 team in the country, you definitely have to win this game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they ain't got no choice. They ain't got no choice. And another big one to me, Michigan State versus the Wolverines. I want you to... Now, I'm going to let you go in on this one because I know you've been waiting for this one for a long time. So go ahead.
Well... You have Michigan going into Michigan State. This is the Battle of Michigan,
right?
This is going to be a hard-fought game. It's going to be a lot of pride on the line.
They're on 2 different sides of the lake, if I recall correctly, right?
And that's why it's a 7-point spread. It's a 7-point spread because they, Vegas and all the odds makers are anticipating that this will be a close game. But being the number 6 team in the country going against the number 24 team in the country, the number 6 team, you have to win this game. You have to dominate the 24th team in the country, regardless of what their rivalry is. So, I'm going to go with Michigan, and I'm going to say Michigan will cover.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Michigan to win also just because of the fact that they have a great running game. They know how to run the football very well. Jim Harbaugh is finally got this team rocking and rolling. The only thing is like I always say, I don't really care who they play. I just care when they play Penn State or when they got to play Ohio State. That's the only time I really kind of care when Michigan plays. They're playing Michigan State in Michigan State, and at the end of the day, that defense is not the same as it once was. They don't have the same talented stars that they used to on defense anymore. A lot of those guys are all in the NFL now. And on top of that, Michigan, it just seems like they just keep on rolling. So I'm going to roll with the Wolverines. I think they're going to cover the spread as well, but I think they're going to probably win that game 42-28. I think Michigan State will definitely put up points, but I don't believe they're going to come close to beating Michigan.
I agree with you. Yeah. But, you know, there are two other games in the top 25 this week.
What you got?
That are upsets. I have two upsets.
What's that?
That you can go to the odds maker with and put your house on it.
Ooh, which one?
Number 20, Cincinnati at Temple.
Really? The Bearcats?
Temple is going to outright win this game.
Okay.
I believe they will outright win this game. The other upset, well, this is not an upset, but number 1, Alabama at Tennessee.
You think that Tennessee is going to upset Alabama?
Alabama will win the game, but the point spread is 29. They're not going to cover 29 in Tennessee. No. So, if I'm a betting man...
Did you watch last week's game?
I'm not... Last week's game is last week. I'm talking about going into Tennessee.
I just want to make sure...
And having a 29...
Okay, so...
A plus 29.
Okay, so I just want to... Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard it from his mouth. The blasphemous that just came out of his mouth. So he says that Tennessee is going to cover it even though Alabama's still going to win. No. Let's be honest about it. Alabama's going to demolish them. It's going to be bad. Let's just be honest about it. That running game, that offensive line is ridiculous. And that quarterback that took over for Jalen Hurts, yeah.
Well, I'm going to let my record, I'm putting my record on the line.
Okay.
My reputation is on the line. I'm giving two upsets.
Mm-hmm.
These are the two upsets. Take the 29 points with Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Pick Temple over Cincinnati.
Well, here's my two upsets. I definitely got, and everybody may call me crazy, I have Vanderbilt upsetting the Kentucky Wildcats. I got them upsetting the Wildcats because for some odd reason when Vanderbilt plays the Wildcats, the Wildcats find a way to lose. This ain't basketball. This is football. And Vanderbilt is not a bad football team. They may be 3-4, but they're not a bad football team. They're just mediocre. But I feel like they're going to get in that rhythm. And for some odd reason, it's about to bite the Wildcats something serious.
Well, you're talking about playing the Wildcats tough or beating the Wildcats in the past. We're talking about the number 11th ranked team in the country. We're not talking about a Kentucky Wildcat team that's on the outside of the top 25 or on the outside of the top 50, where they always seem to be at in football. Uh-huh. We are talking about the Kentucky Wildcats football team ranked number 11 in the country. Number 11 in the country.
And then my other upset, I got to roll with Mississippi State over LSU.
Oh, wow.
I got to roll with that one.
I'm so confident that LSU going to thump all over them. I didn't even write that one down.
Yeah, nope. Mississippi State, I think that the Bulldogs are going to, with that vaunted D-line and them linebackers, they're gonna get after the quarterback because they're gonna be blitzing all night. So LSU better start throwing screens because if they don't, it's gonna be a very long day because that Mississippi State D line is known for getting to the quarterback. So there it is.
Well, you know, we didn't mention Maryland. Maryland is in the big game. They playing Iowa, which is ranked number 18. They're playing the 18th ranked team in the country.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And they're getting 10 points.
They are?
Yes.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard some more blasphemy. I'm just letting you guys know that you heard some more blasphemy. There is no way that... Look, it's wishful thinking. If you're a Maryland fan, I'm sorry. You're going to get beat this week. Just don't even think about it. Don't even bother going to the game. You're not beating Iowa. Just sit at home and watch another game. In fact, why don't you go watch Ohio State? Go watch Ohio State. Go watch Penn State. Go watch somebody else. Don't watch Maryland this weekend because it's not going to even be a game. Iowa's about to run up and down the field on them anyway, so let's not even think about it. Next.
You take Maryland and you take that 10 points.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm just not pick. There's no way that Maryland's going to do that. No way.
We shall see.
All right. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to move on in the interest of time. Ladies and gents, you going to like this next one. Which state produces the most professional athletes? Now, this one, I done a lot of research, because I went on MaxPreps.com. I went on USA Today. A lot of states that usually produces the most professional athletes, you're not going to believe it. We live in one of them. Won't you just love living in the state of Maryland? There's a lot of athletes that come through here. And then, of course, they ranked Maryland up there is in the top 5. But then you've got California, Texas, Florida, and I think the other one, if I recall correctly, was Alabama. Which is really kind of interesting. I'm sorry, in New York. Your thoughts?
My thoughts on that is, if I had to rank which states produce the most professional athletes, of course you would think Texas, you would think Florida. I mean, these are huge states.
Yes.
So I mean, when you compare it to a smaller state, or a district, you have to Maryland. I don't know what the numbers are, but just think Maryland, and then you put Maryland inside of Texas. I mean, Maryland. I mean, so you will have to give the edge to Maryland. I mean, if you do the percentages, because Texas is four or 5 times bigger than Maryland.
That may well be true, but here's the thing, though. When you look at the Maryland area, I mean, I could throw off so many names that came from Maryland. I mean, Jeff Green, McGee, the kid that plays for the Warriors, Sean Springs. I can think of so many that came from Maryland. Like, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you could throw in Sean Merriman, Darius Hayward-Bay. I could throw in Torrey Smith. I can throw in O.J. Mayo. I mean, there's just so many. I don't even want. I mean, and that's why I could see why that is.
Muggsy Bogues, John Battle. I mean, there are a lot of them.
Right. There's a lot of them. Javante Davis, who's one of the biggest boxers right now. Killing it in his division. I mean, he's a pipeline.
And we didn't even say the 2-time Finals MVP. We didn't even say Kevin Durant, Maryland.
Exactly. See, Pleasant. Exactly. So
there are quite a few athletes that come from Maryland, but the numbers are.
And then look at Markelle Fultz. I mean, although he got beat by the Celtics, but I mean Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
Went to the Mavs. Victor Oladipo.
Yeah. It's so many of them. It's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
But I mean, you may have 1,200 that come from the state of Maryland, but when you compare it to Texas is probably going to have 4,000. But when you look at the size of Texas, you have to consider, okay, well, that 4,000, it averages out to about 1,000 if you break it down, because you fit Maryland inside of Texas 4 times. So, I mean, the numbers don't exactly give you a clear explanation as to why Texas may have so many, or Florida may have so many. Now, I respect Florida.
Yeah.
Florida has quite a few athletes that come out of there. You look at the universities down there, Miami and the Gators and those top universities down there, and they keep their home people home. That's why they're so good.
Exactly. All right, now, in the interest of time, folks, we're actually just going to go ahead and move forward. So, this next one is going to be probably the funniest one. The best title town. I threw like 4 of them out there. Chicago, Boston, L.A., New York. So
those are great picks.
But which one really is the best title town? Which is gonna be hard. Now, most people usually say New York, because they say they have over 50-something titles. I mean, 27 of them came from the same team. So, I mean, the New York Yankees, who, by the way, are out of it. When I said the Red Sox was going to the World Series, everybody thought I was crazy. I said they were going to the World Series, whether people liked it or not.
Are you satisfied with that?
Huh? No, I'm not satisfied because I want to win it all.
That's not going to happen.
Okay.
You're there, but a win is not going to happen.
Did you not see what they did to the poor Astros?
I don't know what was going on with that. The Astros pitching is their relief pitching and their starting pitcher is arguably better than the Red Sox pitching. What happened? I don't Verlander. I don't know what happened. I mean, you can't even explain what happened.
Oh, I know what happened. Spotlight. You know, they got a little glare in their eyes.
What's the Boston pitcher?
David Price.
Price. I mean, what
I didn't think he. Okay, so I can actually comment on him. The problem with David Price, he's not a great pitcher, but he's good enough that he'll get you wins.
Well, he's a good pitcher in regular season. Probably one of the top 10. Right. But when you get into postseason, that's where he's always had his problems at. And all of a sudden, he shows up. Mm-hmm. You know, in this series, what kind of McDonald's?
To me, David Price is like Alex Rodriguez. You remember? He's like A-Rod.
How do you make that comparison?
Because A-Rod wasn't always great in the playoffs. He was great regular season, but he wasn't always that great in the playoffs. In fact, in the playoffs, he usually choked. You know, and that's why I can compare the two, because it's like
I have to do my research on that, because I'm not going to comment on A-Rod, one of the greatest to ever play the game, as being someone that chokes in the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs so many times. You know, quite naturally, if he's been to the playoffs 20 times.
How many World Series he won? Exactly.
I mean, you know, naturally, if you go somewhere 10 times, 2 times you may choke. And that may be that's probably what you are remembering. I'm not going to comment.
I just want to know. You know, when is it? When when did he win?
But if you're sitting here thinking that Boston is the best title town, because that's your hometown, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not. Absolutely not.
So who's the best title town now?
If I had to pick the best title town, it's got to be New York. It's got to be New York. The numbers said 1, 2, the best title town. I mean, when you say the best title town, are we talking solely on championships, or are we talking on championships and festivities, and people wanting to go to this venue? New York is the number 1 venue.
The venue, yes, but we're talking about championships.
It's still New York.
How?
Because the paperwork says that New York has 29 World Series titles, 2 NBA titles, 9 NFL championships, 8 Stanley Cups.
9 NFL championships. How many? Don't you mean Super Bowls? They only got 5.
This says they have 9 NFL championships.
Yeah, championships. I'm not worried about championships. I'm worried about Super Bowls. How many Super Bowls they win?
I don't know how many Super Bowls they win.
Yeah, they only won 5. 4 from the Giants, 1 from the Jets.
Okay. With that being said, they still won a total of 9 before it became the Super Bowl. So I mean, are we cutting it off at 2000, 1980, or what? Or are we doing overall?
We're doing overall, but when you think about championships, you're thinking like how many rings does those teams have? The facts are they only won 5 in the NFL. 4 from the Giants, 1 from the Jets. Now, as far as baseball, I mean, obviously they got baseball a lot, but baseball is ridiculous.
They have been the NFL champions 9 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, congratulations.
That may be before it was named the Super Bowl.
I'm about to say, it's still in Super Bowl.
But it's still in their history. So, I mean, they still have it.
Jabari, man, you actually see your comment. You said Pittsburgh is a title town. Yeah, nah. We're not even going to talk about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not even in there.
Well, Pittsburgh got 5 World Series. They have no NBA championships. They have 6 NFL championships and 5 Stanley Cups.
Congratulations.
They're actually ranked number 7.
Yeah.
So they're not bad.
They're not bad, but I can't put them up there with Boston and New York, because I mean Boston. Let's just be honest about it. The Celtics, we got 17 rings. The Patriots got 5. Okay, the Red Sox got 8, possible 9, possible. Okay, and we ain't gonna talk about the Bruins. The Bruins got 8. So
you know what? I'm looking at this paper right here, and this gotta be a misprint. Because there is one team that just kicks ass.
Who?
Montreal.
Are you really going to bring Canada into this?
I mean, they don't have a World Series. They don't have an NBA championship. They don't have any NFL championships.
So
but Stanley Cup. They have.
So you're really gonna bring. I can't believe you just said that. So let me make sure I heard this correctly. You brought in Montreal into the debate with. Okay, so we're just gonna overlook Chicago. We're just gonna overlook LA. We're gonna overlook New York, and we're gonna overlook Boston as the best title town. That's what you're telling me.
No, because Montreal is all of their championships are in one particular sport. But but to compare it to be the title town, I would definitely have to look at Los Angeles and Detroit, as well as Washington and some other places.
I guess you and I, for the first time, will actually agree. I can agree that New York is the better title town, even though they don't have as many NBA championships. The fact that the Yankees got 27, that's just astronomical. I mean, they literally got both hands, both feet, probably another hand somewhere, and two other fingers. Like, that's how many rings they have. That's just ridiculous. So that's just other. And then Lee gonna talk about the Rangers, the Islanders, and how many rings they got. All right, in the interest of time, folks, we're actually just gonna move forward. We're gonna talk about this last topic. So let's get straight into it. NBA. Yeah, man.
I thought you wanted me to tell you who was going to beat the Rams this year. Are they going undefeated?
We'll talk about the Rams in a second, but we're going to get to...
Listen, I got a list for you over here, buddy.
Well, let's look at the NBA real quick. So, game one has been finished by a lot of teams so far. What is it? The Celtics won their first game. That was cute. But see, the Lakers, I'm not going to lie. I thought they looked pretty good, but I also see the problems that I already knew that was going to happen to them, and they really are going to be struggling in the shooting game this year. They were 0 for 17 from three-point range.
Where did this photo come from?
I mean, I don't know, man.
Because I agree with a lot of the pictures that's up there, but there's one person that's missing from up there that definitely should be up there.
Who?
Ben Simmons.
Nah.
Ben Simmons needs to be up. This guy is the complete package. This guy is. I'm talking about for the next 10 years. This guy will be in the MVP talk. You will be talking about this guy for MVP.
Yeah, that's all well and good.
Did you see the previous two games?
I saw.
Oh my God, this guy is awesome.
I'm not saying you're right, he is, but guess what? I also saw how good he was without Joel Embiid too, and he really wasn't that great. He still put up points. I'm not gonna act like he's not putting up points, but it was very obvious that he needed Joel Embiid more than Joel Embiid needed him, and that's where I have the issue.
You may be right, but considering the years played in the NBA, you need time to grow into the leadership role. You need time to find yourself. The numbers he put up last year and the numbers he's put up thus far this year, and just the action numbers he put up 13 and 13 last night, I think. 13 points is not that much. But if you see the 13 points, I'm talking about how he drove down the lane like he was a LeBron James and just dunking, get out my way. And, if you're in the way, he's
a big dude. I would expect him to be like a freight train and just run straight to the hole. But at the same time, I noticed the one thing. The Sixers, to me, are the new Toronto Raptors. To me. Let me tell you why. You remember when the Raptors used to play Cleveland? For some strange reason, when they saw LeBron James, they would have a mental lapse, and that was the end of the Raptors. For some strange reason, when the Sixers, they see they'll beat any other team in the NBA. But when they played Boston, I don't know what it is.
It's the colors. it's the colors. Just like when Maryland couldn't get past Duke on North Carolina for so many years, it was the colors.
Yeah, that's true.
With some fresh blood, and they have fresh blood now. I still think they may need another veteran or two. Somebody like Jeff Green would have been great down there with them.
Here's the thing. I said this to people, and everybody may think I'm crazy, but this is what I believe. I think the T-Wolves, if you want to get rid of Jimmy Butler...
They're not going to do that.
But they better figure it out because he don't want to be there.
No, I don't think that it's that he doesn't want to be there. I think that he's heard. He was hearing rumors about trade rumors and this and that. That practice thing that they had was Jimmy Butler taking taking the third team and going up against the first team and winning. And like any other basketball player, and I think it was an interview. He said, it was simple. I'm just talking trash. That's what we do. That's what I do. I talk trash. So I don't think it's that serious. I watched some of the game. Was it last night that they played? And he looks comfortable. The team looks comfortable around him. So I don't think a trade is going to happen unless management, it can't relate to how Jimmy Butler actually plays. That's like me, I'm saying, me and you, how we may talk on the basketball court,
right?
And then we go into another neighborhood where there may be some Caucasian, it's all Caucasian. They're not going to understand me saying, how we talk,
right?
So if he, maybe management don't understand that and just don't want to deal with how he talks, then it may be a possible trade. But other than that, if he's smart, just like Jimmy Butler told him, you need me.
Yeah.
Really, you do.
Yeah, T-Wolves need him a lot more than he needs the T-Wolves. But anyway, last topic, we're going to jump right into it. Who can beat the LA Rams? Because, okay, so there's a guy on the Flex Zone. Okay, on the Flex Zone. He, we talked about this. And he talked about how he doesn't see anybody who could really beat the LA Rams, with the exception of maybe the Saints. And I'm like, I'm calling you out, Mr. Cravate Hurd. Yep, I'm calling you out.
He actually said that.
Yes.
I don't believe it.
And I said to him,
we need to get him right here.
We need to bring him in. You need to come into the studio.
I want to hear
yesterday. Yes, sir. He doesn't believe anybody's going to stop the LA Rams outside of maybe two teams. Maybe two. And he says Saints, okay, and the Chiefs.
Those are my top two teams.
Right. And I said, that's well and good. I actually have the Rams going 12-4. I said they're going to lose to the Saints. They'll probably and I feel like they're definitely going to lose to the Chiefs. Most definitely. Like, the Chiefs are not going to let that happen. The other team I predicted they would lose to, and a lot of people are calling me crazy, but I was like, not with that guy at quarterback. He is a bad man. Aaron Rodgers. I feel like they could definitely lose to the Packers. I'm not saying that it's gonna be easy, but I definitely believe it's gonna be.
If they play in the Lambeau, I would say the Packers, because you have to get over the colors again. The colors and the tradition.
He said you gotta get over the colors.
The colors and tradition. Going up into Lambeau. I mean, that's a tough task for anybody. But I'm gonna tell you one team.
There's only one other team out of the four that I was saying, Seattle. I feel like if they see Seattle again, I think the Seattle might have them this time.
No, there are two teams that you're missing. You're missing the Super Bowl champions, actually on the schedule for December the 16th. That's enough time for Philly to get it together and Wentz to get all the way back in stride like he's supposed to be. So I would look out for that game. But also December the 9th, they got to go up against Khalil Mack. They got to play the Bears. Yeah. That's not going to be an easy one for them. And I'm talking about, when you talk about the Bears knowing what they're going to have to do to stop the Rams, get that quarterback. Don't give them no time. Disrupt. Stop the run, disrupt. I mean, I think that's a win for the Bears. I mean, barring any injuries.
So you thinking 11-5 or
no? I'm thinking 12-4.
12-4 as well.
I'm thinking 12-4. And the Saints, Chiefs, Bears, and Philly. Those are the teams that they will lose to.
Got you. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for paying attention to us today. I hope you guys liked our picks. And we're going to see what happens over the weekend, because next week we definitely going to have something special for you guys. Be ready for it. So I want you guys to go to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and look at that. No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show. Mr. Unregulated and I will be able to share that over and over again. So you guys, please look out for those updates. Also, I want you to go ahead and go to our Facebook page. Go to No BS No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show fan group. I want you to go ahead and comment on there. And also, if you guys want to post a topic that you guys would like us to talk about this upcoming week, we are definitely looking to hear from you guys. We want to hear from you. Follow our blog on Blogger. No BS No Holds Barred Sports Talk.blogspot.com. Follow us on social media. So is it I am insane _Shane29 underground SB29 shiz _29 for Instagram, No BS No Holds Barred for Instagram, and underground sports LLC.blogspot.com. And then of course you can find me on Facebook as well. And Mr. Unregulated, your social media.
My social media is Mr. for you. That is my Instagram. You can send me a message. I'll get back to you. You can follow me and enjoy. But one thing before we go, Shane, that I gotta say is, if you believe in John Wall, say you do. If you believe in Kevin Durant, say yeah.
Now, if you want to advertise with us, go to Underground Sports LLC at gmail.com. It's Unregulated.
Let's go, Wizards! Let's go, District Heights Chiefs! Playoffs this weekend.
And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the show. Your boy is out.
This has been another great show.
Peace!
Pink! That's what we should have did. We should have just said peace. Are we off?
We should be.
Hey, how you doing? You all are just, you two are sitting there so